Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm your guest host, Grayson Armistead, and very happy to have on the line Valto Loikannon. He's the CEO of Grow VC Group. Valto, welcome to the show, and I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
Yes, that's correct. Thanks for having me. It's great to take part.
Great to have you on the show. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
So, I'm Valto as an international serial entrepreneur and a venture builder, and I'm from a company called Grow VC, which basically is a private holding company based in Hong Kong, but we have several companies in our portfolio which we have ventured up, and also a company in San Francisco in US that is focused on fintech, and most of our activities are innovating and enabling new digital finance innovation services for other clients, and then enabling those with our fintech technologies.
So innovation and entrepreneurship are the drivers of disruption in all industries. What is scaling innovation entrepreneurship?
So innovation itself, I mean, there's more and more technology available all the time to be utilized, and new services to be developed, and a lot of innovative approaches to do things, but without someone taking initiative and becoming the driving force behind that, whether that's inside a bigger corporation or whether that's a more typical startup approach, there's basically a lack of these doers, actors, and basically entrepreneurs, and that's something that we also want to have an impact. So we have several different initiatives with one of our companies called Startup Commons, where we focus on helping to develop startup ecosystems, and that's one of the most effective ways of improving the surroundings and making the connectivity and actors work better to help new ventures to be scaled out from there. That's one of the key activities.
What are the applications in regards to enabling finance services? I'm sorry.
So for finance services, one of the key kind of driver on the technology side is the API economy. So that's the application programming interface, the technology term between connecting basically different applications together and building new applications on top of kind of existing applications and data, and pretty much that's one of the biggest drivers. So it's much faster to create new services by bundling different existing technologies with ease, and it's very much about just creativity of the services and getting them up and running very quickly and start validating in the markets.
Talk to us a little bit about digital transformation in startup ecosystems.
Well, it's quite interesting if we look at the kind of the activities that are happening within the venture capital and angel investing and building companies in general, that while most of the companies that are being built is very highly innovative, there's AI, there's data-driven, there's a lot of technology involved with the companies that are actually being built, but very little is technology utilized in actually on those support functions and services or matching finance with innovative ventures. I mean, there's basically very limited data available when you consider investing into innovation and early startups compared to how the markets, for example, in the public markets are working. So there's a lot of work to be done to get more data flowing from the innovation coming upstream. And that's a big part where we see digitalization and technology needed in also to support scaling more innovation and entrepreneurship.
And what are driving technology trends in digital finance services?
Well, it's basically if we consider all of the other industries before, starting from the e-commerce and then media, and telecom industries, how much disruption has happened basically when those industries have come across with internet. And the finance services basically started to just face this power of internet and disruption much later, and a big part of that is regulatory reasons and trust factor that wasn't there before social networks. But when these started to came to play, then really the finance market started to go into this same disruption cycle that has impacted big industries before. And finance, of course, is one of the biggest industries to face this disruption. And technologies are all there, so it's more about the creativity and the consumer demand. And also it's about these big guys like Facebooks and Googles and Amazons to step in. It's not only about the new companies innovating, but how do these other players step into the bank's territory and so forth.
And how do you envision the future of data privacy and related applications?
Well, on the data privacy, there has obviously been a lot of discussion on two reasons. One being the whole Facebook issue and even the influence in potentially politics in Brexit and so forth. But the other part is one of the biggest regulatory changes happening in Europe for 500 million people market with the GDPR, which is this new regulation dictating the rights of an individual towards their own data, and also obligations for all services, providing services for European citizens, which basically states that every individual have right to have their own data for themselves, what is being collected, what they have entered and what is being collected from them. And that's a big shift that is going to create a totally new opportunities in more user-centric services. Basically, you can think of it like a separated user account as a service, where it's necessarily don't have any other services than the user account and user data, but then connecting to various different services where user is the center of the holder of their own data and giving access to that in different ways.
Thank you, Valto, so much for being on the show. We look forward to talking with you again real soon.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank you. You've been listening to CEO Money with guest host Grayson Armstead. Join us tomorrow for more in-depth interviews and innovators. And remember, you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and anywhere quality podcasts are found. We also want to send out our love and condolences to Anthony Bourdain and his family. We will all grieve the loss. Thank you.